Okay, so this is a sample for problem number 7, and I'll let you read through this information. I've started it down here, but sales 150,000, cost of goods sold 62, depreciation 15, operating expenses are 31. The addition to retained earnings is 14,007. Dividends are $1 per share. Tax rate's 40%. Number of shares is 930 or 9,000. No preferred stock, and it would like to know what the times interest earned ratio is. So let's start by just off to the side. Let me write down what that ratio is. The times interest earned ratio is equal to EBIT divided by interest. So we need to tease those numbers, neither one of which is given, out of a income statement. So I started it here by pulling out sales and cost of goods sold. And if we subtract those two numbers, or the 62 from the 150, then we get to our gross margin. And from there, we would subtract our other expenses, which are given as 31,000. And just to shortcut it, we can go ahead and also subtract depreciation. And depreciation is given at 15,000. And then that would bring us to the EBIT number. So one of the two numbers that you need for the ratio is fairly easily found if you just kind of follow what you know about building an income statement. So from there, we would typically then subtract interest, which we don't know what that is, and that would give us earnings before taxes. From there, we subtract taxes, and then that gives us our net income. A little more difficult if we also have to take off the preferred dividends, but we don't. So we don't have any of these numbers, but we can quickly get to net income because we talked about the fact that net income is equal to the amount that goes into retained earnings plus the dividends. In other words, however much money your company makes, the only thing you can do is either put it back into the company through retained earnings or pay it out to your shareholders as dividends. So we have up here in our numbers the fact that retained earnings is 14,700. So we also can tell that dividends are equal to the amount that's paid per share, which is $1, times 9,000 shares. So 9,000 shares are outstanding. Each one earned $1, so $9,000 was paid out. So those two added together have to be your net income. So 23,700 is your bottom number. Now we have to go back and remember the relationship between taxes, net income, and your earnings before taxes. So if you're at this level, there's 100% of your money. And then you pay the taxes, and it says our taxes are 40%. So the amount that's left for the shareholders after the taxes have been paid is 60%. So if I want to find this number, if you recall what we did before is we took our net income and we divided it by 0.6 or 60%. So this equals 23,700 divided by 0.6. So from there now we can get our interest. We could also find our taxes if we needed to. We don't need it for this problem. So 42,000 minus some number equals 39,500. And that would be our interest. So 42,000 minus 39,500 is 2,500 is our interest. So now we can get our ratio. We're looking for this number here. The 42,000 is our EBIT and our interest number of 2,500. So bring them over here. EBIT is 42,000. Interest is 2,500. So our ratio is equal to 42,000 divided by 2,500.